Hi guys, we're here to discuss today understanding boat as a business and charter management.
Boat as a business is structuring a small business in order to take advantage of tax breaks. You know, there are a lot of stimulus programs for small businesses, such as Section 179, bonus depreciation. But operating your boat as a small business means that you're going to take it and you're going to put it into a charter management company. You'll normally find a management company that you will partner with, and the management company will operate the boat on a co-management basis. Your boat is going to be embedded in this fleet, and it's going to operate and generate income. In order for it to be a boat as a business, there are a couple of pillars that you need to that are important to you. The first one is you need to show ability and intent to make a profit. If you go into business and you don't have the ability or intent to make a business, it's a lost leader. So, for example, if you got a boat and you put it in Maine, you're not going to make a profit because there's only a 2 or 3 month cruising season, so there's not enough time to make a profit. So, that's not going to work. If you put a boat into the BVI, for example, that's the premier cruising ground in the world, so there's ability. There's ability to make a profit, and the fact that you put your boat into the BVI means you have intent to make a profit. So ability and intent in your business. The second part of it is that if you want to run this as a business, you have to show active and ongoing participation.
What is that? So does it mean I have to work in the business?
It means that you have to have a certain amount of hours of active participation. There's 7 tests. The tests that we use are, the 2 of them we use, one is the 500-hour test and the other one is the 100-hour test. But you have to show active and ongoing participation in either one of them. We'll discuss those specifically later, but what that means is that you're able to show that you're actually running this business. So you have a business that has the ability to make a profit, you have the intent to make a profit, and you're now showing that you actually are actively involved, ongoing in the business.
So I can't just give my boat to a charter management company and say, make a business of this, right?
Here's an example. If you took your boat and gave it to a charter company that offers guaranteed income, that would be deemed a passive activity because you're taking the boat, you're giving it to the charter company, and all they're going to do is they're going to run the boat, they make all the decisions, they do all the maintenance, they pay the insurance, and they give you a check. That's passive. If you put your boat into a program which is called a performance program or a revenue sharing program, different companies have different names for it. What happens then is that you're responsible for the insurance, you're responsible for the dockage, you're responsible for the maintenance, and you have an active role in the business in terms of following up, making sure that the boat's being booked, talking to the management company, making marketing decisions, etc. That's active. So you've got to be in a revenue sharing type of program to qualify for active.
Okay, Stephen, so people always ask us about the hobby loss rule. What exactly is that and why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. Hobby loss is a rule that says you can't take your hobby and then run it at a loss or not make any money and claim taxes. So hobby loss is really exactly what it says. You have a hobby, you try and wrap a business around it, it makes a loss, you can't do that. You have to show ability and intent to make a profit. The rule says that if you make a profit 3 out of 5 years, you cannot be assessed for hobby loss. If you're showing ability and intent to make a profit and you're showing ongoing and active participation, that is an active business. You can make a loss 10 years straight. Maybe you're just a bad business person. But you're meeting the requirements of the 2 pillars. You can't be assessed for hobby loss. Hobby loss is reserved for people who are parking a boat behind their house and trying to create a tax loss.
What sort of structure, business structure, would you put your boat into? An LLC or a S corporation, or what's the best?
The preferred is an LLC, and the reason is that an LLC is a pass-through. So if you run your business, your LLC, and let's just say you buy a boat and you take the depreciation, bonus depreciation, the loss in the LLC is a pass-through. So what happens is that passes through to you personally, and then you offset it against income from other business, trade, or salary. So an LLC best suits the boat as a business, as a small business. You don't want to have a situation where, for example, if it's a C Corp and it has to run its own set of books and you have income limitation rules, you really just want to have the pass-through because the intent is to offset against other income.
So there's all this discussion about Section 179 and bonus depreciation. What is that and how do we use this in our business?
Section 179 is a small business stimulus program that's been around since the Bush years, the early Bush years. And what it is, it's to stimulate small businesses by allowing them to take big deductions up front, so accelerated depreciation. Section 179 is not for boats, it's for everything. People with jet aircraft use it, people with railroad trucks use it, people with shipping containers use it. It's a stimulus program for small businesses. It changes from year to year, and then they tagged on what's called bonus depreciation, which is Section 168. Section 168 is bonus depreciation. When bonus depreciation was 10%, Section 179 dominated. We took the 179 tax deductions. Then they moved Section 168 or bonus depreciation up to 100%. Well, 100% bonus depreciation, you don't really want to use the Section 179 because you have certain limitations. Depreciation is depreciation. The best thing to do is to go Google section179.org. If you Google that and then click on calculator and put your fundamentals in, the value of the boat, etc., it will calculate for you and tell you exactly what the tax impact will be on that purchase. So there are two types of charter programs that people put their boats into. You have crew charter and you have bareboat charter. And these are two different types of management companies. In the crew charter management programs, the boats are offered with full luxury, professional crew, and the crew are full-time. In the bareboat, what happens is the boats are offered like a rental car. You have to qualify to operate the boat. You will come, you will get on the boat, you will provision your own boat, you will go and sail, you do everything yourself. So that's crewed is white glove, and bareboat is do it yourself, so to speak. Two different rules. If you operate your boat in a crewed environment, you need to log 500 hours of active participation. If you operate in a bareboat operation, you can do 100 hours and more than any other one person. So it's a little bit, the threshold is a bit easier, but both of them require active participation. You have to, this is not a passive activity, it has to be an active activity, and we will discuss how you achieve this. So the 500-hour test is that you have to do 500 hours per year in your business. It's not that daunting because you're in a cool business, so you go to a boat show, you attend at least one boat show a year, let's just say, for example, and let's just say that you're married, so you and your spouse go, both your time counts.
So what do you do at the boat show? You go shopping?
You come visit me, you hang out, we have a sales associate agreement, so you're basically there as an assistant salesperson.
Ah, so I get to talk to other people who might want to buy a boat.
And if you find someone that wants to buy a boat, you bring them, and then we have a commission agreement, and I'll pay you LLC a commission based on your efforts. But if you take that, that's 8 hours a day at 5 days, that's 40 hours. Let's just say, instead of doing the 5 days, you do 4 days, and then you've got travel in between, but let's just say it's 40 hours. So that means you and your spouse will generate 80 hours of active participation that you can log as being at a trade show. It's not a boat show for you, it's a trade show. You're there to promote your small business.
And I've actually seen other owners who sell charters on their boats there as well, so that generates income as well, right?
Yes, and if you sell charters on your boat, what will happen is that your charter management company will consider you a charter broker, and when they fulfill the charter, they will pay your LLC a commission. So now your LLC is generating income from yacht sales if you sell a boat, from charter sales if you sell a charter, and from charter operations. So your business now stands on 3 legs. You're also entitled to have an asset inspection. The asset is operating in a remote location, so you want to go down and inspect your assets. So you'll go down and you will spend 5 days doing an asset inspection. Again, you can't say it's 24 hours a day because nobody works 24. So reasonableness is always important. 8 5s are 40, so that's another 80 hours. So now suddenly you have 160 hours of active participation.
So you actually go to your boat. You might have a crew, so you see what they do, how the boat is being operated.
You spend time on it, operate it, check the sails, check the engines, basically see the general condition. You know, it's an asset inspection. It's not something that you have to do in a hurry. You do it over a period of days. And then you were talking about, oh, you sold a charter at the show. Well, you can't sell a charter if you don't know what you're selling. So like a travel agent, who goes to Greece and then they sell excursions to Greece, you've got to go to your cruising ground and you've got to do a familiarization trip to understand the cruising ground. So now, if someone wants to buy a charter, you can say, well, you know, there's the baths, there's mooring balls there, and that's a great restaurant, etc. So now you become, so it helps you become a better charter salesperson.
I've actually seen the owners on their websites for their boats that they have an itinerary there, and so they give recommendations of where to go and what not to do and so on.
Yep. So they go down, they spend a week there, take photographs and try and find new locations to publish on their websites. Guess what? Another 80 hours. So now we're 240 hours just in those three activities. You know, then obviously you've got, if you're a charter salesman and you have people that are on your boat that are interested in buying a boat, you can log time there. Generally smart to have a weekly call with your charter management company that you're co-managing the boat, or with the crew, or both. And so what happens is, you know, you have a weekly call, so 50 weeks at 4 hours a day. You know, you're up at the 500s pretty quickly. And the best thing to do is use, you know, most of our owners use an app called Harvest, which they log all their time. It's on their phone, and if they've done 4 hours, they put it in, and you ratchet it up pretty quickly. Now that's for the boats that have crew. The boats that don't have crew have a completely different situation. The test that we use there is 100 hours and more than any other one person. Because there's no crew, you will always do the most. The cleaner's not going to do the most, the booking agent's not. You're going to be the single person that does the single most. Doing a boat show, doing an asset inspection, doing a familiarization trip, you're pretty much there. You know, you get there pretty quick.
The big question always is, am I going to make a profit? Is this you buy a boat and you put it in a business, I'm going to make $100,000 at the end of the year. Is that true?
No. A boat is not a good business. Remember, a boat is a depreciating asset. But what it is, it's a great investment in lifestyle. So there is no profit, and the target is not to make a profit. If you take a 30,000 foot view, you have three components, all right? So you have the boat and you have the boat's costs. The object is for the boat to operate and pay its own way, pay its mortgage, pay its insurance, pay its dockage, etc., the maintenance, all the rest of it. So if you can get your boat to be cash neutral, you're the winner. Because on this side, you have your tax breaks. So let's just say that you bought $1 million boat, you know, you took 100% bonus depreciation at 35%, that's $350,000 tax break. So your boat's operating cash neutral, self-supporting. Your tax break is $350,000 of money that you would have had to pay in tax, which you don't have to pay in tax. So that could be considered the profit. On the other side, you have the owner use, which is your quality of life side. Now here, you're going to go and use that boat with your family, with your friends, and if you decided to charter someone else's boat, for example, it's going to cost you 20 grand a week to charter someone else's boat. Well, you're using your own boat. So that 20 grand a week is value to you that you're using. If you use that boat three times a year, let's say. So that's going to be $60,000 worth of value that you're generating. Over 5 years, that's $300,000 of value on top of the 350. So you're pretty much really close to actually paying, you know, generating revenue to cover the cost of the boat. On top of which, remember, the people that are chartering the boat, while it's cash neutral, it is reducing your mortgage and building equity in the boat. So after 5 years, you'll have some equity in the boat. So if you like sailing and you're paying high taxes, then this is really a good option for you.
So the boat will definitely be able to generate enough income to cover its costs?
Generally, but that's why you need people like Catamaran Guru. We will go in, we'll do a study, we'll do the financials, we'll check the management program, we'll check the revenue splits, we'll make sure
with the charter company? Is that
with the charter company, we'll make sure that, because we're not the charter company, we manage, we represent our owners, so we will check the charter company, we will say, okay, well, the bottom line number is acceptable, it covers all the costs. So we help with that. But if you get into a bad situation where the charter company is taking a too large a percentage, well then of course you're going to go negative, and then you're going to lose some of the benefit.
So talk about charter companies. I mean, we generally work with smaller boutique companies, and the reason for that being?
Well, the boutique charter companies just take much better care of the boats. The big multinationals, they just crunch the boats. I mean, you see the condition of them, most of these places. The small charter companies are much more mindful of the condition of the boat. The owner experience is greater because you're not a number. And of course, that translates at the end, because remember, when you buy a boat and you put this money in, you're going to sell it in 5 years or 10 years, or call it 5 years. After 5 years, when you want to sell it, it's going to have a value. If it's been in a really neglected, in a big fleet where it's just a piece of equipment, it's not going to be in very good condition. So you're going to recover less of your money at the end of the 5 years. If you're in a boutique charter company where they've maintained the boat and it's in great condition, it's worth more. So when you close the circle, the boutique charter company is definitely the way to go if you can find a good place that works for you.
What would be your boat's value be at the end of 5 years, do you think, more or less? At least a catamaran.
Based on data that we have, 65%.
So you will have a little bit of equity in your boat?
You should have equity in the boat when you settle the mortgage. Depends on whether you took the full tax deduction, because if you took the full tax deduction, the recapture is going to bite you. But what most people are doing is when after 5, they'll say, right, that was great, sell the boat, buy a slightly bigger one, and then that offsets the recapture.
But what is recapture exactly?
Recapture, again, let's just take an extreme example. You buy a boat and you take 100% bonus depreciation. So you bought $1 million boat.
And this is part of the business?
It's part of, yeah, it's tax rules.
Right.
So you bought the boat, you took $1 million tax deduction, you took the 350 and you applied it against income from other business, trade or salary. So you benefited from it. After 5 years, you sell the boat for $800,000. That $800,000 is all taxable at ordinary income rates. Yeah, because there's no basis. It's been written down to zero.
So you've already used that tax advantage. So now you're going to be taxed on the full value of the boat at that time.
What you sell it for. It's
right.
Basically it's a straight ordinary income line item. So basically what you're doing is you're paying a full tax ordinary income. So if you're 35%, $800,000 boat, you sell it for $800,000, that you're going to pay 35% on $800,000.
So how do you not pay that?
You buy another boat.
Right.
Look, you kick the can down the road. There's two things in life that are sure: death and taxes. If you can kick the can down the road far enough, good for you. As long as it's a great lifestyle, as long as your family enjoy it, it's really worth it. It does. The other thing is, remember, you're paying at ordinary income rates. So let's just say hypothetically you buy a boat and you're taking a 35% tax break. You're paying 35%, so you're offsetting 35% of your income with the depreciation generated from your business. And let's just say that was the last year of high income, and then you go and you start earning 12% income. Your income rate's 12. Well, then you're going to be paying on 12%. The problem is that the value of the boat will probably bump you up a few tax brackets, but it won't be as punitive. So there are strategies. There are others that we can talk about when I consult with people.
Crude yacht charter. Let's talk about that a little bit. There are 2 different types, where you put it in a charter company or a charter management company, and you have they give you a crew on the boat, and then there's a different way you can do it where you, the owners, can be the crew. Is that allowed?
Oh yeah, we have quite a lot of boats that we've sold that the owners are actually the operators as well. You know, obviously they have absolutely no problem with active participation because their entire income is derived from the boat. So you know they're going to pay the tax based on their income. Of course, if they're using bonus depreciation or Section 179, they will use that to offset their taxes that they pay. So that's not a problem.
That doesn't mean that you're a liveaboard and you're just living on board and you're not really chartering type.
There's a lot of people that think that they want to do that. You know, I'm going to buy a boat and we're going to charter, we're going to rent one cabin. And, you know, again, you've got to be careful with the hobby loss. You have a hobby and now you've got somebody living in your one cabin and you're kind of trying to pretend that you're a charter company. I think if you do it, you've got to be totally upfront, transparent and honest because, you know, if you get scrutinized and you're found to have been gaming the system, you know, there's going to be penalties. You're going to lose all the tax benefits. It's going to hurt. You know, we just like to stay all the way on the right side of the line and make sure that we remain in compliance, you know, to the rules. I mean, the rules are there, and we follow the rules.
So that we have this one couple that we know really well, and we love them, Sail Luna. Just a little plug there for them. They're a great charter boat. They do the business 100% correct, and within 5 years, I think, they paid their boat off, operating it themselves in a charter environment.
You know, they're straight down the line people. Fantastic product, nice boat. We sold them a lagoon actually. They have a lagoon 450.
Yeah.
Nice boat, nice people, and they do a great job. So there are people that do it and do it seriously. If you're going to do it right. Well, otherwise, you know, don't try and take the sort of low road.
So, Stephen, if somebody wants to buy a boat and put it in the charter management in a business, how do they go about that? What can you do to help them?
Well, we'll start with a case study to see if it works for them. We'd look at the financials, whether a crude boat or whether a bareboat would make sense for them. Depends on whether they, you know, how they want to operate their boat. So we'd look at the financials. Then we'd look at the charter companies and see what sort of returns we're getting from the charter companies in the different locations. We'd look at the boat, we'd decide on the correct boat, get the right equipment, and make sure that the cost of the boat versus the return on the management balances, so that we get to a cash neutral situation. So we get the boat, we get the charter company, we look at the financials, we look at the management agreement to make sure that their management agreement is fair. And then what happens is Catamaran Guru will help them negotiate with the charter company. We get the boat, we sort out, you know, the entire structure. We have a look at the tax benefits. Normally I talk with the tax advisors of a lot of the buyers just to clarify a lot of issues because everyone has a different situation. But you know, we try and be a full service from the time you decide to buy till you buy. We're with you. Once you buy, we're then in your corner all the way through, and we have representation. If halfway through the charter management period there's an issue, you're not alone. We're there. We help you. And then, of course, at the end, when you want to sell the boat, hopefully we've done a good enough job that you will get us to sell your boat, because obviously there's a commission we make.
There's tons of information about this very subject on our website. Go to the Charter Management tab. There's lots and lots. We have videos, we have articles, we have case studies, and examples of other owners who have done this before. Go and visit our website and see, read all of this up for yourself.
And if anybody wants information, call me or email me. I'll be happy to send you an info pack that covers financials, management agreements, boat specifications, locations. I have very good info packs that I'm happy to send out if you're interested.